Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for December 23rd through 26th. Well, we are Happy New Moon. Today, early this morning in Western US, is the Capricorn New Moon happening at 1 degree 33 minutes. Very powerful because it puts this new moon, the sun and the moon, in square to Jupiter, hanging out at 0 degrees Aries. Now, Jupiter 0 degrees Aries is poised to move into a new chapter, just waiting, just let me out of the gate. But this square with the sun and then the moon came into that today. And it's like, oh, no, you don't. And we're squeezed. Feeling squeezed. We're up against the wall. And everything that's coming up around this square has to do with where we haven't been, who we really are, and the life we've been living for everyone else, and the old stories we've been playing out, and who we thought we were, and all the things we were attached to. Because we talked about this time, this square creating like a portal, just as Jupiter is just hanging out at 0 degrees. It's like the sun in square is pulling back on this new start. And yet nothing can stop what's coming. So it's incredibly powerful. And today's new moon happening at 1 degree Capricorn, and initiated Capricorn is a fire cardinal sign. And so it's about initiation, new beginnings, new starts. And so we are here at the edge of something new. And yet 1 degree 33 minutes. And the 33 is speaking to where we have allowed our evolution to be stolen from us, to be hidden, the truth and the potential of human technology. And so the 33 is just like a control energy number, speaking to all that's holding and has held back this evolution. And so the astrology is just playing out exactly where we are in this whole story. And so we've got Jupiter like, whoa, the other thing that's happening today is that Chiron turns direct. Chiron is at 11 degrees, turning direct. Chiron in Aries is bringing the impetus, the forward motion into this Aries season, into this expansion, into this at 11 degrees. 11 is a number of facing off with the enemy, going up against what's been oppressing you, creating new timelines and portals into new experiences. So Chiron turning direct is a huge shift of energy. And it's wild because Mars now, so we have these things like Jupiter moving into Aries and Chiron turning direct. It's like, all right, let's go. We're amping it up. We're getting ready to move, to shoot out of that cannon, to sprout out of that seed. But then we have this other energy. This time of year is like a pause. The sun is it's like slowing down around the solstice for a few days. We also have Mercury about to turn retrograde on December 29th, and Mars still retrograde in Gemini. But Mars retrograde in Gemini, so these things are kind of holding back that forward leap energy. It's like, it's like, get ready, get ready, get ready. And how long have we been in this space, huh? Ooh. But you can feel that the energies are quickening and happening. We're being flooded with just high frequency vibrations right now. The light is just coming in, and we're being invited to bring this into our body, into our soul, into our life with every breath and every step. So, this is the energy of this time of year, a great pause. And the astrology is saying exactly that. It's like, yes, we're leaping into the new. But hold on a minute. So Mars retrograde at 11 degrees Gemini puts is 2 signs over from Chiron turning direct at 11 degrees Aries. So this is a sextile, 60 degrees apart. Sextiles are about creative solutions. And yet we have this our warrior sign, Aries, our warrior planet, Mars at 11 degrees. But Mars retrograde says this is an inner battle. Mercury about to turn retrograde in Capricorn says it's about emancipating ourselves from mental slavery, from cleaning up our mind, the mind control, and claiming back our pristine, organic, basically our birthright. This is all about our birthright that we didn't even know we had because it's been so hidden from us. But this blissful, ecstatic existence of what it really means to be a human soul aware of itself as consciousness in a body. It's like stepping back into the wonder of being a child and the awe at what it really means to be manifest in form. It's so powerful. And when this energy begins to come back into our lives, that's when we can drop the old stories. That's when we can see above the matrix. We can pull our energy back and be like, you know what? I had a taste of something way better and different. And I can see now, I can feel now, this is my right as this autonomous human soul. And we've established this, at least on a mental level, the understanding that a human soul in a body is the highest form of authority. Is this why there's energies of dark forces trying to just infiltrate and disconnect our soul's connection to our body, our body's DNA God code? And so we're in a race and a fight to claim this back. And this is what exactly what this astrology is saying. But Mars retrograde at 11 degrees is an inner battle around where we have not been able to express our truth and express our voice. And it just feels so frustrating. And yet we've got to find the strength within us. Nobody is going to come and say, hey, it's time for you to be heard. We've got to know where we're coming from fully and completely before we can really come into our higher voice that's been stolen from us. But this is what this Mars retrograde is about. It's a reinitiation, a remembering of who we really are. And so that's an inner battle. So what's happening with astrology with the sun in square to Jupiter is a bloom of our divergent selves or energies inside of ourselves that aren't in alignment, like the conditioning, the program, our lower self, our mind, the hive mind. All of that is not congruent with our true self. And it's like we're in this realizing that the war and the macrocosm, energetic frequency, the war for human evolution is happening right here, cell on a cellular level, inside our own bodies and our psyche and our mind. And that's how we find our voice, is we find our permission and our strength to stand back up in who we really are and express it in the world. And that's what this time is about. It's a time of preparation. And that's individual for everyone, but listen and pay attention. This next uh, 15 days as we go through the holy nights, which begin officially at midnight on Christmas Eve and go into Epiphany Day, January 6th. This period of time of year is a time of contemplation. The sun's pause brings this energy, and particularly this year, to go within and evaluate the year behind, leave it behind, and make room for the year ahead. And this is what the idea is behind Holy Nights of Peace. These are 12 audio meditations that are designed to be done one meditation each evening through the Holy Nights. And this is an opportunity to go deep into the conceptual energies of the progression of the human soul, connected to the zodiac energies and connected to the seasonal shift at this time of year. And we're at a shift of ages. So it's very powerful. And why not take this time where we're just about ready to go somewhere, but not quite ready to be present completely and use that energy. So consider those holy night meditations. The link to sign up for those is in the information box below. So Mars at 11 degrees, ready for battle, but going backwards and within. In sextile, creative solutions with the wounds of our where we gave our power away, where we gave our life force away. The thing about Chiron, though, so the Chiron is our deepest wounds, very important for supernova souls. Its placement in your birth chart tells you a lot about the whole process, what you've been dealing with on a core level, your core wound through all your this whole Earth evolution. That's why it's so important to supernova souls. And Chiron in Aries, where we gave up our life force, our dreams, our visions, our freedom in order to stay safe or stay alive. And now, when we're talking about Chiron, though, the important thing to know is that just like all of the elements and planets of in astrology, is that there's always the two sides of the story, you know? And so when you heal the deep wounds of Chiron, what's underneath is a magic power. Magic power of Aries is access to pure life force, which you can do anything. And we're literally opening up with Jupiter moving back into Aries into this energy flowing again in our life, in our body. And we have a very dramatic choice and turn, each of us, as we're at this place of whether or not we're going to run with this energy and allow it to give, bring the miracle healing, or whether we're going to concede to the agendas of the lower forces. And this is this 11 degrees. This is this battle. This is this facing off. And yet, the place we find the solution and the where the battle takes place is inside our own psyche. Whew, but you know what? Figure that out. Give ourselves permission to move into the energy, ecstatic energy of existence, and it's game over. How can you keep those lower authority contracts where you're like, oh, I don't feel quite safe. I need somebody else's permission. And I don't know if it's okay when the life force is coursing through you, you know, opening up channels that have been long held in place through conditioning and programming, and uh, the energy's moving again. And this astrology for supernova says, soul says, it's time for you to grab that. But right now, you grab that through this inner process and preparation for what's coming. So, that square of the sun and Jupiter that's really intense right now, bringing up all of our everywhere that we haven't been able to really live our truth, and we've been living everyone else's truth and just kind of like squeezing. It's the energy of like squeezing through this portal and all of this tension. This square comes off on Christmas Day, and that is the energy of like a slingshot. It's the energy of the star seeds, our super soul, superpower souls that have been hidden in darkness, latent in their powers, coming awake and getting ready. This is like our incubation time. It's that quickening. It's like the ground beginning to warm up and awakening that seed and saying it's time to sprout. Seeds can go live for thousands of years and still sprout. So, are you ready for this sprouting? And that's what this time is about. So, Christmas Day is our first shift, although today with Chiron turning direct and the new moon, because the new moon in Capricorn at 1 degree 33 minutes, it's a new relationship, a new start for our relationship to authority. Mercury getting ready to take a retrograde, spending over 2.5 months in Capricorn, saying it's we free our mind, we free our consciousness, we free ourselves from the programming and the mind control and the nanotechnology and all of that. We take charge and take control again through our own force of will with this energy moving through us to choose what's appropriate for us to feel and whether or not we're triggered by the triggers, whether or not we can accept the problem and solution presented to us simultaneously, which is the truth of the universe. That's definitely the energy of this Mars sextile Chiron. It's like everything and everybody in a most difficult position, but about ready to spin off in a new direction. So very, very powerful with Chiron turning direct today. And then with Christmas, around Christmas Day is when we'll have this square between the Sun and Jupiter come off, and we'll finally feel Jupiter in Aries moving forward. And so then we've got an energy of the other things we're feeling right now, which is also going up to Christmas Day, is Mars or Venus in Capricorn, also in Capricorn, in trine to Uranus and Taurus. Now, Taurus is her home sign, and she loves this connection. It's like, oh, somebody's going to come help me go up against the man, you know? And Uranus is like, you got it all within you, girl. You just gave it away and you forgot. It's time to take it back. So, this is about receiving. It's like no longer allowing that external authority to dictate her worth and her receiving her own wealth because she knows that's the truth of who she is, right? And so in that shift, that outside reflection or judgment and everything we've been trying to get over in order to come back out into the light of day as who we are after the persecution of the Piscean age, none of that matters because she's chosen and she knows her worth now. And her wealth, Uranus and Taurus is saying that her wealth is her higher intuitive knowing. Our wealth is our energy, is our life force, is our awareness that we are the highest form of authority in a human, as a soul in a human body. So very beautiful energy, and that goes through. That's exact today as well, and moving through the comes goes right up until Christmas. This trine. So you've got this incredible 10 square, but also this trine because it's saying like the dropping of the old stories, the tension you feel, the frustration you feel. It's about not claiming your worth and your wealth. And so we're getting schooled up in this. Now, the other big thing we've been feeling all month long is excuse me, Pluto, Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, exactly opposite of Pluto and Capricorn. Now, they're not in exact opposition anymore, but they're still very, very close. And we felt this all month, and we'll feel the influence of it through most of January. But this is like, why haven't you been able to claim your wealth, girl? Okay, yeah, you've had some external authorities, but energies, rip you into pieces and send you to the underworld, but come on, right? And this is it. This is that she lost and gave up, and we all did. This is the story of the human soul giving up our connection to source. We never gave it up because we can't live without it. And are working with this connection with source, this feeling of being connected with life, in connection with life, with love, with the mother, with source, feeling loved and held and cared for. And this is saying that Pluto and Capricorn saying we let external authorities dictate our spiritual reality. And now it put us down in the dungeon, like really low self-worth and horrible, horrible places in that we all have within us, supernovas, like this abyss, this place you've gone to because you didn't come here in this earth evolution to pussyfoot around. You came here to do it fully and completely, and you went into the darkest depths because you couldn't complete your mission without it. Now you need to claim the wealth of that, right? So the Black Moon Little Cancer is like, that was about forging a connection with your soul and source so strong that it can never be lost again. What we're doing here is we're going for immortality. Immortality, meaning that we never forget who we are as a soul again. It's not possible for us to fall. Our soul memory from all the work we've been doing in this life will carry with us. We're learning how to die before we die. The reason you've been doing all this karmic work, it's called untying the knots, the preparation. It's what happens typically after you die. We're doing it while we're here. And it's lifetimes of shit that we haven't been in a place to be able to deal with. So it's been overwhelming. But can you feel that those knots are being released? And the ones that haven't are being shown so strong. And that's definitely the energy of this astrology. So incredibly powerful alchemical astrology. And because we've got that black moon Lilith opposite Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn, Venus and Capricorn trine to Uranus in Taurus, bringing that earth balance and energy and groundedness to this experience. Mars in Gemini in a sextile with Chiron, bringing the fire, bringing the fight, bringing the umph, and telling us what's coming as Jupiter prepares to make this move. Now, Jupiter will moved into Aries beginning starting last year in May. And Jupiter then went back into Pisces for the last couple of months and now back into Aries. This is his third time over this Aries point, and it's like third time's a charm. Do you feel the magic in the air? Are you ready to claim the Christmas spirit, which is just the experience of fully living, finally, to feel this life force and love and experience of what it really means to be alive? And so now Jupiter will be coming out of retrograde shadow on the 11th of February. The day before that is the day that Mercury will catch back up to Pluto after Mercury's retrograde. This is really powerful. Mercury is coming to the end, coming to closer to 24 degrees where it turns retrograde on December 29th. So it's coming to 24 degrees. At that point, it will only be a couple degrees away from Pluto and Capricorn. But it's kind of like, and then there's this kind of repelling energy. Mercury, like, whoa, not ready to face this yet. Got to clean up that conditioning and programming. And that's what this retrograde's about. And Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, 3 squares with Chiron. So we know this whole Chiron is powerful. It's already happened one time last week. And that was when Chiron was retrograde. Now, Chiron direct. The next time they meet, Mercury will be retrograde. And the final time they meet, both of them direct. And that will be at the end of January. So we're having these incremental shifts into movement and motion and claiming life and shooting off and new directions and poised for these new possibilities. And so we're kind of in this back and forth, right? We're in the washing machine, forward, back. It's just like shaken and stirred. Ooh, and that's maybe that energy of like that centripetal force, just like this sun square Jupiter, just throwing off, taking off those old clothes that don't fit you anymore, uh, throwing off the old stories, and so that you can fit through this portal into this new reality that's landing home. That's our true reality, our more ultimate ideal divine timeline that we've been working on this whole time from before we even came in here. It's a vision we had before we incarnated ever for the first time. It lives within us, in that God code, in the Gaia codes, in our DNA, and it's awakening. This is the polar shift. And so it's powerful because we're going to have this pause feeling, right? So Mercury's getting ready to turn direct. Jupiter's just hanging out at 0 degrees. Mars is still retrograde, but Chiron starts moving. And so then we'll have that shift when the square comes off on Christmas Day. And then the next big shift comes with the full moon. The full moon will be at 16 degrees Cancer, 22 minutes, right in the very middle of Cancer, kind of bringing to the foreground all of this energy we've been dealing with Black Moon Lilith and Cancer. So that is going to be on January 6th. So that's also Epiphany Day. So that completes the whole holy nights, and it's when we come out of the darkness of the winter in the northern hemisphere, and that shift reflected in the southern hemisphere. So then on the 12th of January, Mars will turn direct, and that will bring a big shift. And then on the 19th, Mercury will turn direct on the 19th of January. That's just about when the sun moves into Aquarius. And then there will be a new moon in Aquarius on January 23rd. And the same day, oh no, excuse me, on the 21st, there will be a new moon in Aquarius again at 1 degree. And on the 23rd of January, Uranus turns direct. And then all of our major planets will be direct. So that's a powerful time, starting with that. Full moon in Cancer, Mars turning direct, Mercury turning direct, Mercury. So then Mercury comes out of shadow on the 7th of February, and Jupiter comes out of shadow on the 11th of February. And on the 10th of February is when Mercury catches back up to Pluto. So it's like we get rolling out of this, and it's like bam, 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 bam. Whoa. 2023, we'll be exploring the energies of 2023. Very different energy. Two and three makes five. And that is a spoke on the wheel. It's about movement. And everything in the astrology is speaking to this. And we especially want to take advantage of this time when Jupiter comes out of retrograde shadow, which we said was February 11th, while Jupiter is still in Aries. Jupiter moves over into Taurus on May 23rd. So the month of May is very powerful, where Jupiter comes to the end degrees of Aries. And so uh, that is this spring. Very powerful energies around the equinox. Once we get all these things rolling again, Mars comes out of retrograde shadow on in the Ides of March, mid-March. And we also have mid-March, Mars will make its third trine after it resolves, excuse me, square. After Mars resolves this retrograde, comes out of retrograde shadow, then comes into its third and final square with Neptune. And we've got like we went through all those mutable squares. And so we're going to be revisiting that energy, but it's a completion. And that happens right after Mars comes out of retrograde shadow. And it's just about the same time that Jupiter will catch up to Chiron in Aries. So March is very powerful energy for a shift. And it's a good time maybe to start planning or being open to some movement in your life at that time. So very just here we are, and we're in the great pause. Use it to your advantage, make it work for you. Get ready to sprout out of that seed, shoot out of that canyon, get that slingshot energy moving. And so take this time to do this internal contemplative work, to prepare on whatever level individually. What does that mean to you to prepare, to have a remembering, to have a reinitiation? Because as we get ready for Mars to turn direct, and that time when Mars after turns direct and comes out of shadow in mid-March, shitstorm of expression. You want to be directed, you want to be grounded, you want to know that you are putting your precious energy in just the right avenue. And that's this divine timeline alignment, landing home of this divine timeline energy that we're in right now. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and let's stay together. I look forward to seeing you on that next update. Consider following along, getting these holy nights and meditations, following along with us. This is about using the collective consciousness, the supernova field that we've been growing by coming together and doing this work. And we can connect with that supernova field and the collective consciousness through these holy night meditations. And it's all about holding space and celebrating and exploring the path of the human soul. And this is like what's been hidden and stolen from us, is the fact that the human soul even has a possibility of higher evolution. And so this is about contemplating that, preparing for that. And it's kind of like we're being reborn into that manger, our Christ consciousness landing home, incarnating into our body, our higher self. And now we've got to tend to that being and that baby, that infant, and this child of light, child of the universe. ready to come home and play again here with this wider, greater awareness of what this whole story is all about. The greatest story never told. And now we tell the tale and we lead the way as we say yes to this initiation, reinitiation experience, coming back into a true light of who we really are. Thank you so much, Supernova Souls. Have a wonderful and beautiful holiday, and I hope to be connected with you. We are connected, the consciousness and the astral plane, as we move through this holy and sacred time together into a brand new world that lies ahead, a brand new day for humanity. And thank you for being here and leading the way. So much love to you, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.